Hi everyone. So I decided I was going to update my application video since the one that I did was from last year. So I'm already kind of partway in. I'm doing a mixed mani here today. This is Safari Chic. I'm sorry, don't fall in love. This is a retired set. This is actually a really, really retired set. They brought it back last year for Color Street's anniversary as just like a anniversary throwback set. So this one has been gone for a while. Sorry, I hate to be doing that with ones. I'm going to be doing the other one is also a set that's not available anymore, but this was the mani I picked for today. So you can see that I have these already on. This one was a little wide. This one was really wide, but my middle finger on my dominant hand, my right hand, is a lot bigger than the one on my left hand. So I actually, my nails are not too long that I can't use one strip for both fingers. That's really frugal. It's kind of cheap. Um, but because these are retired sets, I like to do that. If it's a current set, I slap them on, I'll use a whole pack, and save whatever's left for like accents. Um, but these because they are something that is long gone, I'm trying to use these as sparingly as possible so I can get as many wears as I can. So the other set that I'm going to combine with that is Dark Matter. This is actually a duochrome. You can see super sparkly, right? And it goes from like brown to purple, but I thought it would pick up the brown in Safari Chic pretty well. So we're going to see how these look. So this would be your pack that would come. And I'm just going to I've got a pair of really sharp little scissors, and I'm going to trim the pack open. Okay, now here's a secret. Don't tell anybody. I cut it very, very close to the edge because I'm gonna put these in the freezer when I'm finished with them. So the strips that I've left are gonna go in the freezer. And I know you're thinking, why in the world are you putting them in the freezer? That's super weird. It makes them last. Used to seal them, like used to seal them up with like flat iron, and that works really well. But eventually your package starts getting smaller as you open them and use them. And this plastic, I don't know what it is. Something about this plastic. It's part of the patent. It's one of the patents I think that Mr. Park has for Color Street has to do with this plastic. That it helps the sets stay, wet. I know they're dry, but it helps them from being completely dry. So it's something about this plastic. You need to keep them in this plastic in order for them to continue so that you can continue to use them. So the only problem with that is it makes it kind of tough to get them out of the package because the two sets of them kind of really stick together. So I'm going to probably just pull everything out. Then I'm going to take this 1/2 8 strips and pop those right back in here. And again, it's not the easiest thing to put them in there because there's lots of little edges that like to catch. But there they go. And usually once I get them completely in, I give it a little flick and they slide down to the bottom so that you've got that little bit at the top. All right, so I know which strips I use on which fingers. Like I know I have to use this biggest one. I'm sorry, the camera is on the side of my iPad and I want it to be on this side that you can't see right now, but it's over here. So I know I use that big one on my thumb. I normally would use this one on my middle finger, but because I've got middle fingers covered, and then this next one I use on ring fingers, so I know I've got those covered. So I'm gonna take those, put them in the package. And then index finger, I usually use like this, one of these two straight ones. Probably going to use this straight one right there. Well, I might use that one since I've already got it off. And then this little teeny baby one, that one's way too small for my finger, so that one will come off too. So I've got my index finger and my pinky covered right here. You always want to do just gonna go like this. Use my other hand. You're always gonna want to use your thumbnail last. That is the last nail you want to use, and I'll show you why in just a minute. So I'm gonna apply on my dominant hand. I am right-handed, so I'm gonna apply to my dominant hand first. That gives me the most kind of flexibility to be able to use the nails on my non-dominant hand because I'm a little bit steadier with my dominant hand putting them on to make sure that they're lined up. I'm not quite so steady with my left hand, so putting them on my right it takes a little bit more. So I'm going to separate these. I'm going to take my one that I'm going to use on my pinkies. And the first thing that you want to do is peel this clear strip off the top. Okay, you want to get rid of that. That is just to protect the strips. It's another layer of that fancy plastic. So you've got this. Look at all this thing picks up so much color. I just love the duochromes. They're some of my favorite. So because like I said, I'm gonna be cheap and frugal, and I want to make these last. I'm gonna actually cut these in half, and you don't have to do it before you apply it. I do it before I apply it, but you can do it either way. And you don't have to do it the way that I do it. I'm just weird. So I fold it in half and kind of unfold it again, and then I'm gonna take my sharp little scissors here. And cut it right across so that I've got two pieces and they're both going to be big enough to go on my pinkies. So because I know that my pinky on my right hand is a little bit wider, I'm going to use the wider end of that strip. Some of them have a little bit wider ends, or they might be more straight or curved on the bottom. You just kind of have to figure that out based on your own nails. And so the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of the tab that's on the bottom, but I'm going to leave the paper piece on there. Oops. And I'm going to keep dropping it. So I'm going to peel the sticky part of the tab with the silver. Just going to pop that off. And then, ooh, these ones are pretty sticky. Okay. So I'm going to use my paper as sort of a tab that I can use to hold the strip while I'm positioning it. The reason why I do that is it just doesn't take away so much of the stickiness. I don't know if that really makes a difference for them adhering. I don't think that it does, because it's actually like nail polish. They are going to cure to your fingernails. But for me, it just makes it easier for me to hold on to it and keep it steady, especially again with my non-dominant hand. So I'm gonna do it down here, and then I'll show you what it looks like before I push it all the way down. Okay, so I've got it on there like that. It is not stuck down. If I needed to right now, I could completely pull it off and reposition it. You can absolutely reposition it if you need to. If you get it on there and you realize, oh, this is going to be really crooked, maybe it's going to miss the one side of my nail and it's going to overlap too far on the other, so that there's a lot that you can do. So I'm going to take my paper backing off, and then I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to push all the way up to the tip of the nail, and then I'm going to kind of push around to both sides. And I'm going to check it. Oh, those are going to look awesome. I'm so excited. I've wanted to do this mani since Dark Matter came out in like January. And I've just been kind of dragging my feet and had other manis that I'm like, oh, this one is really timely. You know, it was Valentine's Day, and then it was St. Patrick's Day, and then it was Pride, beginning of the month. So I just all these things. I shouldn't say it was Pride at the beginning of the month. It's still Pride. It's still June. Should always be Pride, but all right. So then I just sort of smooth it. Like I go up to the center, push pretty hard along the edges, and then I also do a couple of little pushes down toward the cuticle. It kind of pushes your nail bed down a little bit, and so when your nail bed comes up, it'll actually cover up the bottom of the strip, make it last a little bit longer as your nail goes out. So then it's going to look like this. You're going to have this little extra bit kind of flopping around there. I'm going to leave that for a little bit, okay? Then I'm going to do my index finger. So same way as I did before. Take off the clear. I'm going to fold it in half, trim it up here. Take my tab off the bottom. I'm going to drop it because apparently I cannot hold on to anything. Okay, so then I've got it here without the tab. I'm going to peel it off. Put my paper on there so that I can hold it. Sorry I can't do this part so that you can see what I'm doing, but It would not be a good application for me if I did it like that. And this one's actually taking me a little bit longer than I intended, but all right. So I actually had to pull that one down a little bit because it stuck further up. But because I hadn't really like smoothed it down yet, it was okay. Give this a good. Okay, so I'm pushing it down. And I always feel like the more that I smooth them, like the better chance that they're going to have for lasting longer. They're not going to lift or peel up or anything like that. So there is that one. It looks pretty funky that close. Let's move it back like this. So you can see it's brown. But then if you can get it, if I can get it to hit the light right, which I can't because of this, but it's got like kind of a purple sparkle in the background too. So this is going to be what it will look like. And I'm going to do the dark matter on my thumb as well. So just going to be like a nice, nice sparkly brown with some gold flecks and kind of mimic the, reverse of that with the gold and then the brown leopard spots. So, okay, I'm going to pause this and I'll be back once I'm ready to move on to the next step.